Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the 26th SF Indie Fest. The festival will be taking place from February 8th through 18th. We're so excited to have filmmakers joining us here today for our Bay Area Stories and Storytellers program, which will be coming to you directly to your computer screen. It'll also be screening live at the Historic Roxy Theater. Thank you so much to our Bay Area filmmakers. We're so excited to have you and the opportunity to showcase your beautiful films. Welcome. Just to kick things off, I'm going to start off by asking our filmmakers to tell us their name, the film they're with, and what their role was on the film. And I'll just call off some names. We'll kick it off with Una. Hi, Una.
Hi, good morning. Oh, sorry. Hi, Una Garthwaite, writer director, Forever Town. Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you so much. And we'll keep films together. So, Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm Amanda Blake. I played Ash in Forever Town.
Lovely. Welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, Ethan. Welcome.
Hey, yeah, it's Ethan Roberts, and I was the writer, director, editor of At Lucy's last night.
Lovely. Welcome. Hi, Jill. How's it going?
Good, how are you doing? Good morning. I'm
Awesome.
Jill Hill. I wrote, directed, and edited Kill Your Landlord.
A very beautiful sentiment, especially being in such a red strap place like the Bay Area. Hi, Carrie.
Hi. I wrote, direct, DP'd, lit, costumed, makeuped, and co-edited Madame, but it was really saved by my real editor, Sean Temple.
Awesome. Thank you so much and welcome to all of our mighty filmmakers of many hats. And last but not least, hello, Lily. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. I'm Lily Katz. I wrote, produced, and directed Ethical Slaughter, now called Ethical Slaughter Comedy, for a number of reasons.
Yes, I don't know how anybody thinks that would be like a serious, it's such a great tongue-in-cheek title. Well, I think just to kind of start off with, I'd love to hear about the genesis of your projects. How did the story come to you, or how did you come to it? And we'll kind of go back in reverse, and we'll kick it off with Lily. Lily, do you want to talk about the way that your film came to be?
Yeah, so the premise of the film is about two sisters who decide that in order to okay. So I'll start differently. And I love that this isn't edited. So I had a roommate who told me a story about some friends he had who decided that the only way that they could eat meat was if they could slaughter an animal themselves. And they got as far as purchasing a goat. And I thought, that's awful and very, very funny, and is the perfect example of when somebody has a good ethical intention and a very bad way of trying to explore that. So I thought, if I get the chance to make a short, I want to explore that idea. And there was some good timing in that I got laid off and had a little time on my hands. And I thought, well, this is the time to make my short film. And luckily, my very talented cousins, her sisters, are actresses, and I was sitting down with them and I saw their banter and dynamic, and I thought, this is a story I want to tell. I want to tell it through sisters, because who other than a sister could bring somebody to the point of madness? And so that's how I got to the film.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. Hi, Carrie.
Hi. Honestly, I got this mainly from a piece of music that I fell in love with. There's a Bay Area musician, maybe Una, maybe you know her. Do you know Freya Cellista? She plays the cello. She calls herself Cellista, Freya Seeberger, but she's changed her name to Freya Cellista. And she has an amazing album called Finding San Jose, which is, it's like spoken word, it's music, it's classical, it's it's really, really ambient, and it really just plummeted me into a particular mood. And I couldn't stop playing it. I couldn't stop playing the entire album. But two or three pieces from that album just kind of got under my skin. And suddenly characters just kind of like started bubbling up 100% from that piece of music. So that's often how I work is I get ideas from music. It just, I don't know, some kind of a mood disorder I have related to music. But yeah, I just got carried away with it. So that's how it came.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, Jill. Welcome.
Hello, yeah. So I would say the genesis of Kill Your Landlord is, I wrote this when I was a college student. My experience was I was living in a one bedroom with two other folks, and it was really, really difficult. And I try to just challenge or channel all those negative feelings about the housing market and capitalism and just where I felt like my generation was like in this moment in terms of like our economic prospects into what Kill Your Landlord is now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, Ethan.
Hey, yeah. So the genesis for At Lucy's Last Night really came from, uh, God, about a decade ago when I first graduated college, which is like kind of weird and scary to think about it being 10 years ago. But I there was like a week in between graduation and when I had to move out of my apartment, and I went to college in like a small town um, that really got like empty after the semester ended in the summer. So I remember it was like the morning after a party, and I was like doing the walk of shame back to my apartment, and it was like the entire town just seemed really dead and quiet in kind of like an eerie way. And so in kind of like my hungover state, I was like, what if like the world had ended? The world had ended while I was asleep, and then I was just like in this weird small town, and I was like the only one left. Um, and it kind of just kind of grew from there. Plus, weird feelings about graduating college. And I had also had kind of like a strange interaction with a straight guy at a party, and it that same week. So it all kind of was birthed from that, and sort of percolated for the last 10 years.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ethan. Hi, Una. Can you speak to the genesis of your film?
This like all day. How much time do you have? So Forever Town started as a song, right? Because I've been writing music for a long time, and it never gonna let you go. Oh, and it was really about the backup singers. Like that's like the backing vocals is what kind of is the hook of that song. But it was a song that I was trying to sort of, I don't know, it came to me as this tongue-in-cheek sort of snarky song about this abusive relationship I was in for a really long time, and I kept trying to leave, and he kept like threatening to throw my dad's gear in the street, or try to like kill me. Like that's how bad it was. And but I wasn't really releasing music, and then I don't know that sardonic is a tone that is done very well in music. So I was like, oh, this is a movie. And I think in the first draft, the lead character was named Amanda because I knew Amanda and I'd heard her sing, and I was like, oh, this is her. And so I had those characters in place. And then it was initially called Never Gonna Let You Go, because that's what it was about. It's never gonna let you go. But then as I was writing it, the name of the band came to me as Forever Town, which is a callback to Kelly McFarling, who's a great, phenomenal Bay Area musician. And she always introduces her husband in her band as the Diamond of Forever Town. So I cannot take credit for the name. But once those pieces were in place, like the name of the band, the song, Amanda, the whole world came alive to me. And I wrote, like everybody else, like wrote to the locations available. I marched down to Harold Adler's Art House Gallery, and I said, hey, I want to do this. I want to apply for a grant for Berkeley Civic Arts, but I need the location. And he was like, yeah, okay. and worked with our budget. And yeah, I mean, this is my third short film, and it was every favor that I called in. So how did it come together? Like, how does
Sweat
anything,
and tears and yeah.
yeah, pulling the truck
Awesome.
uphill through the mud with your teeth kind of thing, but like with your community.
Yes. Amanda, Una mentioned, she wrote a lot of this with you in mind. How did you come onto the project? How did you approach the role?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I would say that I would do anything that Una asked me to do at any point. I respected her so much already as a musician and an artist. And for the past couple of years, I've gotten to be in her orbit of screenwriting and filmmaking through various things. She said, "Hey, can you read this? What do you think about this?" And so I was so honored that she wrote this particular character with me in mind. And so it's been a great process over a long period of time now that we've been like discussing the idea around it, and as it started to take shape as the actor, it resonates so deeply when someone, and it's such a gift when someone writes something for you. There's a lot of themes in the script that I think that Una wrote like with me in mind, but equally like I wanted to make sure that I honored those parts of that character that were pure Una in my mind. And so the character kind of became like this amalgamation of, obviously what we do as actors is this like imaginary world and these imaginary circumstances, but this imaginary thing, but like with her and me. And I was so lucky that she had such a clear narrative voice in the text. We talk a lot about watching it back now, some of the scenes that are exactly as she envisioned them from like draft -1. And so it's such a gift for me as an actor to be able to work with the writer in that way, but then also, of course, on the day, get to work with the writer/director on the day and have that dialogue. To bring the project together. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will say I'm always struck by how fiercely community oriented the Bay Area filmmaking scene is, and how scrappy we are. I mean, I definitely came up big, borrowing and cheating my way into as many locations and resources as I could working in the Bay Area. And I would just love to hear from the filmmakers about your approach to creating art in a place that can be challenging but also very rewarding to work within. And I'll kick it back over to Lily.
So I've been working in the film scene in the Bay Area for a little over a decade, and I'm from San Francisco originally. So I've been really fortunate to have a lot of support from the filmmaking community. I'm not good at asking for help though. So this was my first short film because I'd made a pilot another time, but when I decided to make this, I realized I had to actually rely on the community of professionals that I know. And for the first time, actually say like, can you help me? Can you help me make this thing? So I just put out a post on LinkedIn because even that for me was a lot to ask. And I was really surprised to see a lot of my colleagues just come forward and say like, yeah, let's go make this thing. And it was only because of their encouragement and because they were like, yeah, the script's funny, like, yeah, let's go do this, that the script actually happened, or the film actually happened. All of the gear was rented, all the locations were borrowed, and got donations from the community to make the film. So it really was a truly like Bay Area short. Even my cousins who are in it are from the Bay Area. They grew up in San Francisco. So it was just like, it was really nice after putting so much into the work in the industry for 10 years to get that support. It was really cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, there's no greater feeling than when folks show up to support you. I love that so much. How about you, Carrie?
Yeah, Lily, I so relate to what you're saying about having trouble just kind of coming up and saying, I need this. And consequently, that's why I did everything on the film because I haven't learned to do that yet. So I did everything, but it was actually my second film, and it was made in a beginning filmmaking class at San Francisco City College. Excuse me. So I was able to use all of their equipment. And what I did was, I think at City College, you can take out equipment for, 24 hours or something like that. But I way in advance, I kind of timed out when spring break was going to be. And I said, can I take the equipment on the last minute of the last day before spring break and then return it, the Monday morning when we come back from spring break. So that's how I did it. But Lily, I have to talk to you about how to do this, how to reach out, because my next project I definitely is bigger than, I can't be the DP on this again. So
Yeah.
um,
I am having visceral flashbacks of lugging the Pelican cases from the checkout lab at CCSF to, oh God, I might forget what the train was, to the K, I
yes.
think. And just being like, why do they put this up a hill? Go Rams. SF City College is such a special place for kind of cutting your teeth for filmmaking. As is SF State, where I think you went, right, Jill?
That's right. Go
I will,
Gators.
I will say the one thing that I had in my head when I walked away from watching your film was how proud George Kuchar would be when seeing your work. I don't know if anyone's familiar with George Kuchar. He is no longer with us. He's a filmmaking legend. He I think is makes John Waters look tame, if that makes sense. He made a lot of really crazy shit. If you're not familiar with him, audiences and our esteemed filmmakers, please go check him out. But Jill, how about you? How did you kind of navigate the Bay Area of it all in your filmmaking?
Yeah, so as you said, I went to SF State, and that is definitely like a scrappy filmmaking school, which I really appreciated. So, like the whole academic system is you do your film studies for the first couple of years, and then you get your hands on gear. Well, I didn't really want to wait that long, so a lot of my filmmaking practice was writing a script, going out, shooting for 8 hours with a bunch of friends, and then coming back and editing all night and having a film pretty much done in a day. So for Kill Your Landlord, this process was like a little different for me. I started writing it in 2019. We, wrapped shooting at the end, like December 2019, and then COVID happened. So, all the editing labs, everything on campus was shut down. So, this film, I finished it in 2023 finally, and I really had to figure out, okay, cool, I don't have access to anything anymore. How am I going to get this film done? And it involved sneaking into the sound stage once I graduated and getting a couple shots done that I hadn't previously written into the script. And scouring eBay for mini DV cameras to get that really grainy, dirty look for the apartment scenes. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Ethan, how about you?
Yeah, so I am very, very, very new to SF and the SF filmmaking scene. We actually moved here in
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So happy to be here. And yeah, we just moved here in September. So this is kind of my first sort of foray into just seeing what the scene is like. And obviously I loved everybody's shorts, and getting to hear these stories is very inspirational. But it's interesting how, so we shot the film in Austin, where I was living at the time. And I think that there is a little bit of a universality to, kind of hyper low budget regional filmmaking, because it was the same kind of big borrow and steal mentality, which I don't know, I think is kind of magical about being this type of filmmaker. The locations were friends' apartments that I kind of called in favors from. We had the DP's wife was the gaffer, or the grip, because we weren't able to find somebody in time. And yeah, I will say, I mean, I'm just really looking forward to, doing the next thing here in the Bay Area, just from, seeing these incredible pieces and, hearing everybody's stories. It's like very inspirational.
Awesome. I hope that you all get together before we have our live screening, make a quick movie all together, have it edited and ready, and then we'll just slap it in there. Una, I feel like you've already touched upon this, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit more, especially kind of this intersection between like having like grant support from like institutions within the Bay, working within the music scene, and then also the filmmaking community.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, I put down the guitar. I stopped playing music, writing music, thinking about music. And I'd sort of been releasing things into the ether, and like, four people care, and they care a lot, but like you can't pay your bills that way. And so I went deep into screenwriting. I took my first screenwriting class at SF City College from Denise Bostrom, amazing teacher, and the best
I love Denise.
the best possible intro to screenwriting, because it's all just like formatting, and like if you don't become fluent in the format, you can never become, free into your juicier ideas. Then I took the screenwriting class at Berkeley City College 4 times, but you're only allowed to take it 3 times. And so my teacher let me finish it, even though I couldn't properly enroll, and I had no idea until the last week. She's like, technically you're not in the class. So I was like, oh my goodness. But anyway, 3 people from my Berkeley City College class worked on the crew. But going back to Lily and Carrie, like so Forever Town is my 3rd short film. The first one was shot on iPhones, and like I took a road trip with my friend, and that's how we made it. Like, I don't know how to get a grant. I don't have anything. How can I make something with nothing, right? To prove for the next time that you can make something with something that people can invest in you. The next one was a 48-hour film project. And so like from the first, the first one took like a year to even shoot it. It was so slow. But I built out my community, because I had like finding a sound person for the hotel scene was impossible once we got, you know what I mean? Like whatever, it's felt impossible. But so the person, another friend of Hilda's, peripherally, like through my same friend Ryder, was Stacey McKenzie, who ended up DPing on Forever Town. In between that, we did the 48-hour film project, because I was like, I need something fast. Like Charisma Jones took too long. I need something fast. And I promise this is all coming back around. But something amazing happened on the 48-hour film project, which I decided to do like 2 weeks before. It's not like I, figured out really how to pull this off. But I knew I wanted to work with Stacey. And so Sarah Ty, who's Sarah Gerstel in the film, she plays Bex, the other backup singer, Amanda's counterpart. I know her as a visual artist. She's an incredible visual artist, Sister Stranger, check out her stuff. And I was like, I sent her a text message, and I was like, hey, do you act at all? Didn't hear back from her for the whole weekend. I was like, oh, well, like every single other person I've asked for help or asked to be part of this has said yes. So like 1 no, that's not terrible. She comes back. She responds to me a few days later saying, hey, sorry, I was camping and I had no phone service. And one thing I was meditating on was how I would like to get back into acting, which was my major in college. And I was like, I am never doubting myself again. Like I was so right. And so anyway, that I think like for me personally, a big part of understanding the very, very great value of working collaboratively in community, which is the greatest resource we have, right? We might not have money, but we can all pass the same $50 around on our Kickstarters to like, keep this whole thing percolating. But I needed to take a step way back, and Amanda can attest to this. Like she read my first feature. Nobody else did. You know what I mean? Like you workshop it in class and stuff, but like I feel like I'm rambling a little, but I have this writers group now that we've been going for 3 years, and were friends, and some of those people wrote on the film, and some or sorry, served as crew on the film. Some of those, you know, they workshopped the script heavily. I tried to form 4 writers groups before this one stuck, and they would go, and I'd be there, and then it would just fall apart. And like you have to keep going. And the worst thing that can happen if you ask someone for help is they can say no, and like we're expected to say no anyway, so like who cares? And the other trick, oh sorry, someone gave me a tip once, because she was one of my elders. She's similar, like she's an artist, and she really struggled to ask for help when she needed help. And she's like, you know what I started doing? I started accepting help even when I didn't need it. Any help that was offered. Oh, can I get that door for you? Oh, can I get that grocery bag for you? Oh, do you need a ride to this thing? And she started saying yes. And so I just remember that like to need help, and to ask for help, and to accept help, like we do that for people all the time. And I really think that's the only way anything gets done, you know?
Yeah, totally. That's so special. I think one of the things too is just like when you find your people, you find your people. For example, you know, I came up working in production in the Bay Area and film festivals. My people, like I was so lucky to work with Hilda, who was featured in your film. One of my closest allies and best friends is Lex Sloan, who actually runs the Roxy Theater, where we came up, you know, producing each other's work, working with each other, just loving on each other, and like to get to see where she's at in her career and where I'm at in my career. Like these are the folks that you kind of develop, especially at this phase in your filmmaking career, where it's like you come up when you're scrappy and you hope in success that you get to bring everybody else with you. And it's really lovely. And I think that that's what makes the Bay Area filmmaking scene so special. Well, that's all the time we have today for our Q&A. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your art and passion with us, and participating in the film festival. We can't wait to see you at the live screening, and see what's next as we continue to conquer the world. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.